Hi, it's Joe Cortano, and we're talking about the record, the project, and the people. And I want to talk to you about the business of this, because making a record, making a CD is not easy unless you want to write a check, in which case anybody can do anything. But to commercially create a project is a very, very large thing, especially now because nobody buys music. People download it and they think, well, that's good for me. And the truth is the musicians keep getting shorted on this. So they couldn't find anybody to help them with this album, so they just found a way to do it themselves. Now, I don't know of any other place where people just work together, without even, discussing how it's going to end up, to put together something that they all believe in. And that's what they did. So when you hear about this project and all, you're going to see 7 people that worked on this with their own blood, sweat, and tears and money for years without help. And now they put out this unbelievably great album, and you can get it just like you could buy anything else. But you're buying much more. You're buying the support and love of the community. Lee, I understand that you were a big ingredient in putting these people together. Would you please explain all of that?
Well, yeah, we were getting ready for the CD with Hinda, and we were rehearsing with Hinda a couple times, the 3 of us plus Hinda up at Greg's place. And I'd sort of thought, I heard Dennis's last CD that he produced, and that was with Gail Kolb, and I was just kind of blown away about how great the arrangements sounded, and sort of direct things so that it's not just playing a song. There's some kind of interesting moments to it that, although they're spontaneous because we haven't practiced it, they come out as sort of very polished and interesting and move the music in different directions, and it almost feels like it was planned when it absolutely was not. And so knowing Dennis, his ability to do that, I kind of mentioned to Hinda, we should try to get Dennis to come in and at least help move things along. And Hinda was very much a part of that. And so of course we were getting ready to record, I think it was some day in 2018, and Hinda approached Dennis about that, and Dennis agreed to do it, just out of his general care for us as a band and musicians and believing in the group. He also knew ahead of time, he had mentioned that he knew that Greg and Chris would just be total pros in the studio, and that anything he threw at them, they would be able to just deal with with finesse. He literally went home that night and just thought of a whole bunch of tunes, some of them that I don't even think we were planning to do, and came in the next day, and it was just kind of, I saw everyone sort of light up at that, oh, here's Dennis, and we're kind of, he had these arrangements, and we just basically talked through them, for a few minutes, maybe rehearsed them briefly, and then just did it. Yeah, and the CD came out great.
So I went to Winter's Jazz Club to listen to the Soul Message Band, and so Lee wanted me to sit in with them. So I sang a couple tunes with them, and I really enjoyed it. I love their groove. It's really, you don't hear that groove period that much anymore. It's more from the 50s, and then to add a singer in there, you really don't hear that. You really didn't hear that much back then either, right, with a singer and an organ group. So I decided that I wanted to record with them. So I asked them if they would record, and so the next day we were going in, but the night before I went into Francesca's where Dennis and Lee played on Tuesday, and I mentioned to Dennis, I'm surprised I didn't mention that to you earlier, that I was going into the studio with them the next morning, and asked him if he would help us, because we don't know anything about arranging and all that. And Dennis is really good at that, arranging and producing. So he was willing to arrange and produce it. But I had a whole list of tunes that I wanted to record. And so the night before, he said he was up really late, and he came in with a whole different list. And a few of those tunes I had never sung before, so I was kind of panicking. And so then we spent 2 days recording this. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just wanted to have us record it. And pretty much, and Dennis did a great job of arranging, I have to say.
So Dennis, how did you pick out the tunes? How did this happen for you?
I just thought of it like an order, and maybe to try and vary it up a little bit so that they weren't all the same.
He arranged it on the spot. We didn't have a rehearsal. That was really something. You arranged it on the spot. You know, usually you have a rehearsal and people know what the arrangements are. Nobody had any idea except him.
And Hinda's got an uncanny knack, not to even say supernatural way of knowing lyrics. She can remember all kinds of lyrics that she claims she, or a song that she says she doesn't even know, but she'll know it. So I didn't ever think that would be a problem for her to do the song once it was on her list. And it didn't turn out to be a problem at all.
Did he push you?
Oh, kind of, yeah, but sometimes you need that. Yeah, he pushed me. He tried to get me to do something that I was afraid to do on a tune, and I did it because I trust his musicality.
We were, you know, we knew we trust each other. We were that, you know, confident that we could help each other, you know, with arrangements to make the CD what it is.
Address this thing with talking about Dennis and also Greg Ward. Like nobody came in there doing anything for financial situations, because there weren't any. It was our love for music, our love for each other. So it took a lot of things that's like time that's very valuable to like want to come in here and do this. Not that other musicians don't, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it was, everybody was on the same page. It was no, you know, nobody had to explain anything as far as money was concerned.
Yes.
So how did the album start? So now you played together for a while and
No, we didn't.
didn't play.
No, I just sat in.
Yeah, so we started doing gigs together, and Chris, you gotta start too. We started doing gigs together. It was kind of just like fell into place. It's just been picking up steam and picking up steam. We got to get it done. We got to get it done, and we did it.
And it started feeling good too.
Yeah, and there you go. So go ahead, Chris.
Yes. It started feeling good, and you know, he was our. Well, I'm gonna say this. He was our coach, the way that my buddy here is our coach. The way a coach leads his team. And he would, you know, coach us, hey, I want this effect, I want that effect, if you can give me more of this, if you can give me less of that. And it just became, you know, second nature. We had our own way of taking things down. Rock and Lee would write the arrangements down, and I would, well, I guess you could say write them here. Here. And okay, and then when one of us is not sure of a part, we'll say, what was that? What was this, that, and the other? Okay, it does this, that. Okay, fine. I mean, we could call, and I'm used to this. We could call each other at 2 a.m.
Here's what Hinda told me in DC. They said that it wasn't done, and you guys all showed up and just started working. Does that sound right?
Say that again.
So he showed up.
Who?
Dennis.
Okay.
Showed up in the studio, and you guys just started working together. And you guys
True.
started.
Yes.
True, but Dennis was familiar with. He didn't ask us to change the way we played. He knew what we were about, and he enhanced that and came up with the arrangements that he came up with based on the way we played, the way the type of organ thing that we do that's what he based the arrangements on. So it fell into place, but the arrangements and the guidance came, and we trusted him so much because he knew Chris and myself, and he's great friends with Hinda, great friends with Lee, so he knew what we were about. So we didn't have to come in and be different people.